I posted a YouTube short every hour for an entire day to see if I could supercharge my channel, and the results were incredible. I saw a 24% increase in subscribers, I saw a 31% increase in hours viewed, and I saw a 38% increase in views overall. And this is just from that one day. And then those results have kind of continued. So right here, I've got it zoomed in just so we can see that one day. You can see what I'm looking at here. October 5th is when I dropped everything. Crazy views came in that one day, subscribers, etc. And then the trends kind of just continuing. So we're going to look at this over time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through what I did and how I did it. And I'm going to show you the results that I saw from that. And then I'm going to give some key insights based on analyzing that data in a little bit more detail with the intent here that you can replicate and you can do this yourself. So let's get to it. So what I did, like I said, I posted 24 videos in a 24-hour period. I had these videos published at the 15 minutes after the hour. So I had the first video go out at 12:15 a.m. on October 5th. I had the second video go out at 1:15, the third video go out at 2:15, etc., all the way up until 11:15 p.m. And now the intent with this was to see if I could have a bunch of the videos I was going to be making anyways. So there was no intent here of trying to do anything different. I was just going to do the same thing I was doing, but see if I published these all at the same time, would that dramatically increase my viewership there? Would I be able to like kind of draft off my own videos with more stuff coming out, more people coming to my channel? And I seem to have a substantially improved results just in general because I had so many people jump in for those, and I still am seeing those results. For the content, I just posted the same kind of stuff I had been posting. So here we can see we're on October 5th, so we can see all the videos that were coming out that day with varying views. So in the middle of the day, I actually had a big lull where I did not see very many views. I thought my strategy had maybe hit its peak or backfired and just I wasn't seeing much engagement. And then it started to pick back up again. So I think it was likely just the videos itself, whether people chimed in for those. If I had stretched this out over 24 days, would I have seen better results? I don't know. But I do know that by condensing that, I essentially was able to do 24 days worth of videos coming out in one day and seeing tremendous impact to my channel. And so if I keep doing that, I can see the growth being exponential. YouTube seems to be one of the few tools in the social media sort of data sphere that does better based on your effort. And so in some cases, like I might be putting in a ton of effort on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it might be, I'm just not seeing any results. It doesn't seem to matter. If I do more, I don't really seem to do better. But on YouTube, I am finding if I do more, I do better. I'm getting better practice where the more frequently and more consistently I am making videos, the better I am at making them. But not only that, I seem to just in general be able to attract more people. Those people that are subscribing, it's kind of compounding, and it feels more like interest, where it's just like a wonder of the world. This thing is just slowly building up, and the faster I can make good content, the faster it will grow. And the easiest way to make good content is to make more content so that you can figure out what you're good at, what people like, figure out where those two things combine, and then just kind of keep scaling that. So this is what I did. I made 24 of the same kinds of videos that I thought I would be making anyways. Publish them all on the same day. If you're not familiar with how to do that, let's just jump into one of these videos. So the way I did this was I essentially used the visibility where you can set it to public, but you can also schedule it. So I just chose a specific time. So in this case, I chose, like I said, it would have been 12:15 for the first one, 11:15 p.m. for the last one, and then had those come out. And that way that let me have the videos all come out as I wanted them to come out. And then a related video, I could tag one of my videos. So in this case, I tagged my intro video. Though honestly, you could tag whatever you want. You could tag, like maybe you have one video that you think should have a lot of views that is really related to the 24 things you're putting out. That's going to be the next experiment I do, where I'm going to make one video and then have 24 shorts directly related to that video, and I'll link to that and see if I can supercharge the views on that long form by using this strategy. And again, it'll just really force me to practice and see how I can better make content for the people that are consuming it. And so this will also hopefully supercharge your other video you're linking to, assuming you're putting out content that people want to see and go to that. And then that's how you would set this up to kind of be scheduled and publish that. So you could go ahead and replicate this on your own. Just the next 24 videos you were going to make anyways, make those, schedule them. So maybe you need to do it a month or two in advance so that you've got enough time to build all the content. You just slowly get those ready and set up. Totally fine. However you want to do it, you should just run with it that way. But I think the most interesting piece out of all of this is you can essentially look at your channel analytics to see what can you do with the data you've got to better cater to your audience. And I now had over 100 videos, so it seemed like I had a much better source of data because I was getting into statistically significant numbers with, like you can see now, I'm up to 375,000 views. So if I'm making judgment calls based on that, it's much more likely to be accurate than it would be on a smaller subset. There's some calculators you can use out there to determine if you have statistically significant data for whatever it is you're trying to decide. Because if you're using too small of a sample set, you're going to make decisions that aren't actually based on any data, and you're better off just not spending the time to do that and just make stuff so you can get enough data to do that. But anyways, once you have your data set, what you can do here is, like if I see here, I can change this to lifetime, and then you can see that big spike here when I actually started putting out a bunch of content. So then I can go to see more. This will bring up the data you can export, and so you can add whatever columns you want. I think there's a few things that are super important that I would look at. I looked at average view duration and average percentage viewed because I wanted to know not only how many seconds of the video did they watch, because we know these are short, so they're 60 seconds or less, but I wanted to know what percentage they watched. Because if they watched the whole thing, even if it was only 18 seconds, that's way more valuable than if they'd watched 19 seconds of a 60-second clip. It wasn't interesting enough to keep their engagement. So both those metrics paired together are useful. Viewed versus swiped away, in my mind, is the best metric that I could find for was it interesting enough to actually engage with it? And then you've got a few other metrics that are useful, such as likes versus dislikes, where did they engage with it? Did they watch it? But then did they like it? Or did they dislike it? Because those could really skew your metrics, where if a lot of people are clicking on the video, a lot of people are watching the whole thing, but you don't meet whatever it is you promised to do. So for instance, it could be you've got a thumbnail that has a killer intro, and then you miss that, whatever that climactic moment was, where it was supposed to be realizing something and it didn't happen. You might get a dislike for that. And that's going to obviously showcase that your video isn't delivering what it's promising to. So those three, I think, are the primary that you can look at here, and what I was basing a lot of my decisions off of as I'm trying to figure out how to supercharge that for the next one. So I would add all of those here, and then once you've got this, you can go ahead and export this. You can export this to a Google Sheet, and then from there you can make a lot more analytical decisions based on what your data looks like. What I did is I then imported that into Power BI. If people are interested in this, I can put together some details on like the full process of that, but that's not really the intent of this video. I just want to walk through the results of that, not necessarily how to data mine and teach you how to use Power BI, etc. But if we look here, I've got a couple of interesting things. So I essentially at this point had 114 videos out. So when I published this was 20% of my content that I was outputting in one day. And we can look at the views, where we can see as we run down here how many views each of these videos had. And one thing that was super interesting is in that 24-hour period, 5 of my top videos based on views were in that period, meaning I made 5 of my best videos I'd ever made that went out that one day, at least best based on how many people viewed it and so forth. I could sort this by subscribers. You could start looking for any extremes here, where we can see like this one has 20 subscribers, even though it didn't break the 10,000 view mark. This one also 18 subscribers and just barely broke 5. So it's very interesting where some of this stuff falls. And depending on what you're trying to do, you may have a different model of what type of video you want to make. If you want views, if you want subscribers, if you want both, if you want to increase your average view duration, etc. Lots of things to look at. One of the things that I was looking at was I started charting this as a scatter chart to see where could I focus my efforts to try to really improve. And I was looking at a couple different things here. I essentially have the sum of viewed versus swiped away going along the x-axis, and I have the sum of the percentage viewed going up the y. And the intent here is when I'm pairing these two metrics, I can see anything that's towards the right was much more likely to be clicked on, and anything that was going up was much more likely to have the whole thing watched. And so between these two metrics, I can then also look at data points like how many views did they have, how many subscribers, etc. So if I was to mouse over one of these, for example, we got this one here, I can see it had 9,000 views, 0 shared, 78% of people viewed it versus swiped away. And then the percentage viewed is very high. Obviously, we can see this is one of the highest videos on here at 135%. So people really watched this more than once. And the sum of subscribers is 8. So I pulled in 8 people from here. So this is too much data though. It's hard to look at. But what I know from here is any videos that are on the left side or on the bottom, I can get rid of. Like that quadrant is not really something to emulate. And ideally you'd want to emulate the stuff in the top right quadrant here. So what I decided to do was I was actually going to filter this and say, I want to see only things that are greater than 10,000. And so when I did this, I decided, why don't I look at things that got me greater than 10,000 views? Because that'll dramatically cut down this data set, and it'll be much easier to look at, are there any outliers in that set? So I went ahead and did that. And I can see I've got a few pieces here. One, this video is obviously much higher up the list here. So it was watched more. And we can see the average percentage viewed is over 100%. Brought in 19 subscribers, 12,525 views. We can also see this one is an outlier in the other direction. So it has 15 subscribers. It only has 10,000 views, but it had a lot of people people choose to view it. So 85% of people chose to view it. And then it had a pretty good duration still. It was at 93%. So still very high, but also a lot of people decided to look at it. And then it's got 11 shares. So, and then 92% likes. So like these two videos are both very solid picks. At the time, I was thinking that this one, because it has over that 100% view and it has more subscribers, like it may be a better one to try to model, but they both seem like good picks. And then I also noticed, if you look at the data here, with my top 10 videos, because I can essentially had 10 videos over 10,000 views, the average view duration is 33 seconds. So what this tells me is that folks are naturally dropping off around 33 seconds. So if I made all of my videos going forward targeted around 33 seconds, I think I'd have a much higher chance of having people view the whole thing and would dramatically increase that percentage viewed. So if I was just going to change one thing, I think that's what it would be. And that's kind of been my mentality going forward. I'd already filmed some stuff, so I had some stuff that will be coming out that will have a duration different than that. But for shorts, based on best performing videos, I think I'm going to be targeting 33 seconds and see how that does. And if that is a solid update to how I've been structuring things, then we'll really see that in the data here, where when I run this again, say in a month, and I've got a lot more data in here, we can see, is there an improvement with the stuff that's coming in later? Is that stuff truly performing better because it has that average view at 33 seconds? And the average percentage viewed is also 33% or 33 seconds, pointing to a like substantially higher percentage viewed. I think YouTube would see that as the signal that this is a quality video. So that was something I was going to look at. And so after a week, I downloaded the data again to see how things changed. So here we have it. And we can see I've got this already filtered to 10,000. And since I output my last set, we can see I now have 18 videos that are above that 10,000 mark. And that one video that I thought was an outlier, that stacking wood video, it originally had 12,525 views, as we saw, and it's now up to 21,000. And it's even higher as I'm making this, since I pulled the data just a little while ago. And subscriber count has jumped up another 9 people. Like shares have gone up too. Everything here is pointing to this being like a solid video. And we can see it's definitely like a huge outlier here where it's just way up top. Same thing, we can look at these two here to see like what's kind of creeping up. So this one's had more views creeping up. It's got more subscribers creeping up. I'm seeing just residuals from having output that data. So if I was to recap all of this, I'm sure you've heard it from a lot of different sources, but the more you can output on YouTube, especially like you've got to be focusing on improving things. Just outputting crap is going to be crap still. So as you're outputting videos, looking at those, improving those, and outputting more and more and more better videos, I just don't see how you won't grow. I started from zero, as most of you had. I built a following on a couple of different channels that are all very small. My biggest channel is Discord at this point with 1,300 people. It's taken a few years to get there, but on YouTube, most of my people are coming from YouTube itself. It's just supercharging my YouTube channel by outputting a lot of videos that people want to watch. And the only way to figure out what people want to watch, output a bunch of videos to see what people are watching. And then the better your chance of having one of these explode and take off is directly correlated with how many videos you're putting out. So yeah, you can absolutely do this. I'm going to do another test. I'll put out the details with that one. And then hopefully you all are able to use this and grow your own channel. I think there's a lot of opportunities here, and it's honestly fun making content that people watch and enjoy and ideally can learn something from. So I love sharing my experiences and helping people avoid the pains and problems that I've struggled through with miscellaneous different tasks. And if you have something you'd love to see, feel free to drop a comment or fill out that survey I've got posted on the homepage for the channel. And I will talk to you all soon. All right, get to making. Take care. Here we go. Ready? And go. Ah, shit, I'm on the wrong screen.